Right. So, especially when using a blunt instrument like one of your limbs or some stick or truncheon or anything really, and you want to break something or disrupt something or just generally destroy destroy a tissue. I mean that's what my martial arts are about. It's war arts. So you you want I mean very very strong fast vibrations into a target. I mean whether it's the brain, whether it's a nerve or I don't know if you need it on bone, but I guess it would do fairly well as bones too. Uh, I mean, the striking principle won't work less on bone. But, well, let's go. So take a, try this. Get a fork, and it will have to be a fork, I mean standard fork, because this is about feeling vibration into your hand, and you take some little wooden object, like this butter knife for instance, and you hold it in your hand, and you just strike it. And you will notice vibrations, like vibrations that sting a bit, like I don't know what's the physics term for this, but you will feel like a small impact. I mean, vibrations going into your fingers and hand. All right. Now we try to do this while we increase. We use the same speed and we push at impact. I mean, like the theory that we will get to more mass into the target and more power, and we try this. Interesting. When you push here, the vibrations get less here when you push at impact. It's like you're cancelling out the vibrations here or here. So you get far better, stronger vibrations by being loose, you just hold it firmly, but imagine like it's a nunchaku or a ball on a chain or a brick in a sock or something. I mean, you just accelerate it and let the weight of the object do the impacting. You can do like this too. It's all about the weight and the velocity. Right. So the idea is that that this type of strike, you just use the weight of the weapon or the weight of your limbs when you strike into a target. And one of the benefits of this is that you won't have to lean in to the target so that you end up like this after every single punch. Sometimes that's a good thing and sometimes it's not. If people are into grappling, I mean they like when you go like this because they can just grab your neck or something and get a good grip on you and get you to the ground and maybe submit you or something. And if they do, you better have your your team at the site taking care of that, because I mean, submission only works in single combat, or if you're several guys against one, because the opposing side can just come and I mean, put a boot in the mouth of anyone trying to submit anyone on the ground. So the idea is if I get a strike into a solar plexus, for instance, or into the floating ribs or something, the strike will just be the weight of the hand. Now there are quite exotic, whatever, you get what I mean. Striking arts. Some of them seem to be from Eastern Europe. Maybe this is because in Western Europe, in the medieval ages at least, boxing and striking seem to have been thought of as peasant-like. Maybe this has to do with armor, because if you have a lot of armor on, I mean, very few unarmed striking techniques will work when you have armor on. And besides, in Western Europe, people, I mean, common people carried daggers, so learning punching wasn't probably a priority. Maybe it was less of a priority than it is today, even. And it's not like all people everywhere today care about knowing how to strike properly. But for some reason in Eastern Europe there seemed to be martial arts with more of an emphasis on creating a good shock into the tissue. I mean, really get those vibrations going and disrupt things. I don't know how they do this, because I've seen the so-called internal martial arts from China. You can go to Eli Montague's site here. Like he teaches about at least 2 internal Chinese martial arts. Very interesting. He teaches all sorts of things, and the interesting thing about Chinese internal martial arts, and I guess they do this in Eastern Europe too, is that they say that if they deliver the strike and pull back, not before impact, but during impact in a certain way, they can make the vibrations go further, and they can direct the vibrations in certain tissues in a effective manner. I mean, you see this shit or that shit in car accidents and stuff, and other accidents too. You will see people who are like fairly unharmed on the surface, and inside their organs are just ruptured and things are teared loose and internal bleeding and stuff, but they are just a bit bruisey on the outside. So there is something to this, but this must be really, in some way, really advanced mechanics, because I've tried to look up this thing, but I don't find anyone explaining it really. The only thing is that really good Chinese martial arts instructors with experience and abilities in those arts say that you will have to learn this by experience. Like, you will just keep on striking and focusing on getting those vibrations to travel to the spot you want. I don't know how useful it is really, because when you're in a really high adrenaline state, a lot of techniques don't work anymore, because those parts of your brain and neurology that use that you use for fine motor skills get shut down when you're in a high stress state. This is why holding a gun at the side like that only work in high stressful situations for really well trained people. Like most people just square off like that and want to hold their hands in the same manner. They strive for some type of more towards symmetry. So I'm not sure about it, but you can check out Eli Montague's YouTube channel and watch some interesting things anyway. Well,